Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to our look at Call of War. The first week of battle is behind us as our forces have made preparations to invade all of Europe. And in our previous episode, I made the call of war to all of you for joining me in a couple of these multiplayer online matches. I thank everybody, by the way, for joining, and things are well underway. We're going to recap the first week of battle here. As I've been playing with Germany, I have a few friends supporting me as France, Sweden, the UK, Spain, and a few other nations as well, and we've been quite cordial with some of our neighbors, but unfortunately some of them had to go. So Germany has already prepared itself for invasions of Czechoslovakia, the Netherlands, and Denmark, and also sending our sights towards Austria. Things have gone rather well so far. A cool thing about this game, by the way, not to mention that you can play it for free with the links down below in the description, but also the fact that it takes place in real time, so your attacks are very exciting as you kind of get everything ready to move. It's nice to see them actually taking place and succeeding. So, of course, we're doing a little scouting here of all of our neighbors and finding out how things are working democratically. This is me kind of figuring out diplomacy and figuring out how... democratically, I mean to use the word diplomacy, as we're basically preparing for our invasions. We're finding out who's what and launching our first attack boom there against Denmark. So now we're at war with Denmark. Of course, through this episode, we should see all three nations fall of the Netherlands, Czechoslovakia, kind of half of it falling to me in Poland, and then, of course, Denmark as well. Sweden will come down to Denmark and take that over in time, and there's our attacks on Czechoslovakia as well. So we're going to take Prague here in the episode as well. Things should go rather well for all German forces, but really what we're doing here is preparing our army for the next phase. We're gaining territory so that way we can take over valuable supplies such as food and rare earth metals and metal and oil and all the other things that you need in order to have a successful military. Additionally, Belgium and Ireland and Portugal, as well as Norway, will fall to our forces as we're in a 5-player coalition, which is really nice. So I've kind of recorded a week worth of moves, and I've also been making moves on my phone too, which is really nice when you get a notification that says, hey, your forces have arrived here, what do you want to do? It's really nice to be able to have them follow through, or to, you can do all of your commands from there, or as I use it, just to kind of spiff things up a little bit. So reinforcements are arriving from Spain as well. Early in the game, it looks like Yugoslavia has just fallen to both Italy and really aggressive Greece. Greece has just gobbled up pretty much all of Yugoslavia by this point. They've taken kind of the flanks there and have taken everything over at this point in time currently, but you'll see it take place here in the map. So as we see things go on, it looks like Poland will be a very strong player as it takes a lot of Lithuania and also all of most of Czechoslovakia, also starting to move up into some of the eastern or western Russia positions. So it looks like Finland and Archangelisk and a few other places are going to be very powerful and very populated too. So a lot of manpower, a lot of grain production and things like that there. So we can see our forces now moving through. It's really easy to give commands in this game. I really prefer this because I don't have to be so focused on it, and you can really work with people over a long period of time. We also have a lot of oil here for Germany, so we're getting a lot more as we go on. A lot of areas being captured in Denmark that have oil and food, and that seems to be the biggest thing that I'm lacking in the initial part here. Though I'm no expert, I definitely am doing a lot of research here and getting a lot of the basic things done. Aircraft are going out doing recon on areas in Austria and Czechoslovakia now, and yeah, more and more Spain's troops are pushing in. So back here in the Netherlands, you see that Amsterdam and the area of Rotterdam, they're about to fall as we're cutting our forces into two to take both of those. Looks like also the Netherlands has hilariously taken a position of mine too, but we already have a force there fighting them. So they kind of, as we went to war, they moved their troops out of the Netherlands to take a region or a district of mine, which is totally fine with me because now it allows us to take more of mainland Netherlands, basically all the main initial territories of theirs with little resistance since they've split their army up and we're blocking with another one. Eventually we'll take that region and it should be pretty easy to get it back, and their armies are split. So that's good for us. More build up here on the French border. At this moment in time, Italy and France, I should say on the Italian border for France, has a lot of tanks. So I think we're going to see a big battle with Italy. There's been some behind-the-scenes diplomacy going on where some forces are calling for peace between Italy and France, but I am with them and will support their attacks as time goes on. But it seems like we might be able to be peaceful with them and just push forces through Germany into Austria to attack some other neighbors in the east. I have not yet made contact with Romania, and Yugoslavia is gone, so it really seems like the only players in the east for us are Italy, Poland, Romania, and then of course maybe Finland as well, east of Sweden up there. So really cool to see. I think we're going to see a battle of titans because eventually somebody's going to break. If we can, we're going to try to avoid the bigger neighbors and let everybody kind of get as big as possible. But we'll see exactly what happens. A lot of great progress made from all players in this game so far, and really learning how to use gold effectively to finish things like that. Research and unit production can be really taken care of that way. Also using the market and using money is very effective too, just your in-game money that's generated. At the top there you see all the different resources from, I believe it's food or grain, and then I think the other one is like machine parts, manpower, steel or metal, oil, rare earth metals, and then money itself. So the more territories that you control, of course, the more money you have, and then you can buy things. So the game really speeds up as time goes on. At this point, our forces control pretty much all of Western Europe aside from Ireland and just finishing up a few things in Belgium, but I think the big battle is going to take place around Italy. Now, I don't want to tell you what a lot of my moves are because I'm sure those players are watching as well, but we're just kind of keeping an eye on everybody to make sure that there's going to be no invasion on us. Really, essentially, we're just trying to get as big as possible without pushing into anybody. It almost feels like playing one of those itch.io games where you're trying to... Is that what they're called? The ones where you're trying to grow a circle as big as possible before you gobble up other players. Essentially, that's what this is. So you can see there that Italy is pushing into a little bit of what I think is now Greek territory. Look at that. Greece has completely swallowed up all of Yugoslavia aside from one little territory. So now it looks like they're battling it out. Look at all that damaged territory. There's an incredible amount of just battles that have gone on there. So I don't know if Greece and Italy are at it at the current moment, but we'll do a little recap here in a second or two, kind of covering all of that again. Thanks to our sponsors, A Call to War, by the way, for sponsoring again today's video, and then, of course, our next video, conquering other territories. We'll see if we can continue it on. I really like this game so far. It takes a very long time to play, which is kind of nice because instead of dedicating an entire day of a weekend to it, you can just dedicate multiple days over a week, and it makes your moves feel a lot more powerful and meaningful to take other territories. Really cool. Alright then, one last recap before we go. A fantastic first week for Call of War. A lot of alliances and a lot of, I guess, non-aggression pacts being created this first time around. The UK moving in on Ireland still, just getting things loaded up onto the boats and trying to push into capital cities over there to take Ireland. The Netherlands and Denmark pretty much all taken by our forces here. Rat Pack taking Denmark between me and Sweden. My friend there up taking moving forces there into Denmark to take that completely, and then moving on Norway. Norway all pretty much but taken with one little territory remaining. That's it. They're holding on with a string. And then, of course, just the remaining forces of Belgium here. But the big battle about to take place over Italy. We've got some moves planned, and I don't want to give anything away just yet, but we've got some real good things coming here. It's obviously going to be a war against Italy. There's got to be with all those forces on the border, but will there be? I'm not sure. Moving a lot of good forces then into Austria to clean all that up, but Poland making some real big jumps into enemy territory. Czechoslovakia, Lithuania, and Belarus. No, actually, Belarus being taken by their forces. But interestingly enough, Greece getting it in on the Yugoslavia action here with Italy. Looks like those two are going to be butting heads very soon. There's a lot of battles going on here. Look at all that territory that's been fought over. I'm interested to see if Greece and Italy are going to battle it out or if they're in an alliance. I'll have to check. But one last territory remaining, unfortunately, for the active player of Yugoslavia. But it looks like real trouble is going to come from possibly Poland for everybody else. Looks like most forces seem to be pushing to the east. We've got, let's see, I can't even pronounce it. I'll just call it Archangel. We're going to go take a look at some action here, I'm assuming, of them advancing to the east. Everybody looks like they're turning their eyes either east or south. As for our forces, we're just looking to be at peace. nothing more to come from that. All right, thanks everybody for watching our time-lapse advance here. There's, again, with the game being played in real time, we're about to see the real war kick off in the next week. So this is kind of just the opening initial moves for a lot of our forces. So thanks to everybody for joining us for the 2 games there, learning a lot in our first game and really making some good advances, making a lot of light tanks. Things are just getting started. So this is kind of what's interesting, is that the first few moves are really just kind of opening moves, preparational moves, with all my allies around. Luckily, we're not focusing on the west anymore. Everything in the west has been taken. Portugal and remaining territories here. Just a few little cleanup operations going on, but everybody's turning their eyes to the east. Even the east is turning their eyes to the east. So thanks to everybody for joining us and being a part of this game. You can see everybody else's progress into different territories. Some people are already sharing, I guess, their opening moves too. Looks like Sioux Falls might possibly be moving on Omaha. We'll see. All right, guys, thanks for joining me for Call of War. I'll be back next week to show you really the carnage that's about to take place. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'll see you next time.